subjects. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation. The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information. Tonight on Sightings.
I'm your guardian angel.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Whether you believe in angels or not, you'll be surprised by these amazing real-life encounters.
Whatever it was, it must have been some sort of miracle.
Then, our team of ghost investigators hunts for the sinister force haunting this Kentucky music hall, plus astrological predictions for the new year.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. It is considered to be the most haunted place in Kentucky, a country music club called Music World that's been plagued by supernatural activity. Why Music World? Well, some believe it's because the club was built on a site where gruesome murder occurred. And because the murder was rumored to be part of a satanic ritual, the area has been dubbed Hell's Gate. This building on the site known as Hell's Gate was built more than 100 years ago and now houses Bobby Mackey's Music World, a country western bar and dance club in Wilder, Kentucky. The patrons here come for a good time, oblivious to the building's evil past. They do not know that once this was a slaughterhouse and later a place where, some say, satanic rituals and murder occurred.
Satanic worshipers went there at night to worship and praise the devil due to the blood that was spilled there from the dead animals. Their blood was poured into a well. The well is known as Hell's Gate.
The slaughterhouse, closed since 1938, and the bloody well, now sealed, are just two examples of the evil that has plagued this site since the 19th century.
In 1896, a girl named Pearl Bryant was beheaded somewhere in that area. Two men, Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson, were arrested for that crime. People still today talk about Alonzo Walling and Scott Jackson refusing to tell the whereabouts of Pearl's head while they had the nooses around their neck. The judge had offered them a life sentence opposed to death if they would tell the whereabouts of her head. They refused. The rumors that have abounded here for years is simply that these two men were satanic worshipers and her head was given as a sacrifice, a blood sacrifice to the devil. And they would rather die than suffer Satan's wrath.
Newspaper accounts revealed that Pearl had been 5 months pregnant and that the father was one of her killers. Today, several witnesses claim that the headless woman and her two murderers still haunt Music World.
I felt something was trying to get me out of here. And there was always a voice saying, get out, get out.
Many people have sworn they've seen the form of a headless girl floating through the nightclub, moving through the crowd when the band's up on the stage playing.
I came in here one night, and when it was closing time and the jukebox was unplugged, it was playing the anniversary waltz.
I won't come in here unless I have to by myself, because this is a very dark, eerie, weird feeling building.
Sightings recently conducted a detailed investigation with paranormal experts Dr. William Roll and Dr. Dean Radin. They brought equipment designed to sense and measure the presence of abnormal energy at the site.
It's not only brains or minds that hold memories. Physical space also holds something like memories or traces. This is something that I don't think can be explained away in terms of simpler theories, can't be explained away in terms of magnetic fields or radiation. I think that it's something of a genuine parapsychological nature.
Sightings also brought in noted psychic Echo Bodine, who had no previous knowledge about Hell's Gate or Music World. As soon as she walked into the building, Echo had strong psychic impressions.
There's a psychic image of a lot of blood in this room. A lot of blood, a lot of hatred. There's an image of a man and a woman downstairs. Again, a man with dark hair and a woman who's afraid. He knows what he's doing. He's been here long enough. The feeling is that he tries to scare people, especially women. It seems like he doesn't like women messing with his property. There's definitely an energy here that does not want me to do any of this, all right? I mean, it's really strong.
When our experts sat down to compare notes with some of the witnesses at Music World, an alarming discovery was made. Pearl and her murderers may not be the only spirits haunting this establishment. Our team discovered that there are others who met with violent death here.
There's been definitely violent death in this place, and sad death. I kept hearing voices crying about the broken dreams of this place.
The psychic's impressions of broken dreams may refer to star-crossed lovers who reportedly met here in the 1930s. Their romance ended in tragedy, and some believe there is a link between their untimely death and the other apparitions that haunt Hell's Gate.
After the property changing hands several times, the building became a gambling casino. There was a dance hall girl there named Johanna. She became pregnant by a man named Robert Randall, who was a singer at the club. Her father supposedly had Robert Randall killed. This was according to a diary that was found inside the nightclub. She consequently poisoned her father and herself and committed suicide inside the same nightclub. Johanna, according to the diary, was 5 months pregnant.
5 months pregnant, just like Pearl Bryan, the first known victim of Hell's Gate. Then we discovered that the dead lovers of the 1930s had a link not only to the past, but to the present as well. There was an eerie connection between one of the lovers, Robert Randall, and current club owner, Bobby Mackey.
I went to Bobby Mackey and discussed this with him. I learned that Bobby Mackey's original name was Randy. At 1 day old, his umbilical cord, where the doctor had severed it, had ruptured and he almost died. For some unknown reason, his mother changed his name to Robert Randall Mackey. Robert Randall, the same name as the singer.
At first, Bobby Mackey ignored the story of the eerie similarity.
I didn't want to hear it. And I told him, in fact, to keep quiet about it. I didn't want it getting around because I had everything I owned stuck in here. And I had to make a success of this some way or another. And then my wife started bringing it up.
Janet Mackey told her husband that she had just survived a terrifying encounter with an unknown force. She was 5 months pregnant at the time.
Something had grabbed me around the waist. It seemed like it was trying to attack my child. Okay. And it picked me up and threw me back down. Then when that happened, something grabbed my head and was kind of forcing me down. I got away from him, and when I got to the top of the stairs, there was pressure behind me, pushing me down the steps. And when I looked back up, the voice was screaming, "Get out, get out."
Janet's frightening paranormal encounter triggered an early labor, but miraculously the baby survived. Considering the string of evil deeds connected to this site and the well that still lies buried beneath it, was Janet's experience a warning? Are the Mackeys the next link in a chain of tragedy at this site? With a thriving business and a healthy child, Bobby Mackey refuses to believe that his family is a target of Hell's Gate.
I don't believe such things could happen. I've never experienced anything in this building that would make me believe there's a ghost here.
Bobby Mackey claims that he does not believe that Music World or the well is haunted. But beginning in April of 1993, Mackey will fill in the well, demolish Music World, and rebuild it on property that he's just purchased, property that's only 100 feet south of the original Music World site.
Coming up next,
I'm your guardian angel.
people who claim they've had amazing real-life encounters with angels.
Whatever it was, it must have been some sort of miracle.
Do you believe in angels? Do you think a guardian angel has saved you from harm? Well, according to recent Gallup polls, half of all Americans and 3/4 of all teenagers believe in the existence of angels. Of those who claim to have seen an angel, 50% believe that what they saw was a guardian angel who had come to save their life.
Why'd you want to save me? That's what I was sent down for. I'm your guardian angel.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
In the classic film, It's a Wonderful Life, Jimmy Stewart plays George Bailey, a man who is prevented from taking his own life by Clarence, his own guardian angel.
I don't know whether I like it very much being seen around an angel without any wings.
Oh, I've got to earn them. And you'll help me, won't you?
Sure. How?
By letting me help you.
The belief in angels as spiritual beings who can intervene in human affairs has been around for centuries. But now there is an explosion of new interest in the subject. 50 books about angels have been published in just the past 2 years, and most Americans now admit they are believers.
The latest Gallup poll shows that 65% of us believe in angels. 75% of us who are between the ages of 18 and 25 believe in angels.
AIDS, a troublesome economy, a high divorce rate, changing sex roles, all of these things make for an uncertain world. And I think that people are turning to angels in an attempt to find security, power, control, meaning in their lives.
While some people actively search, others believe their guardian angel appeared in a moment of need.
The first thing I remember about falling was I looked to the side. I didn't think I was falling as fast as I should be. And so I looked down for the ground, and I was trying to turn over. And I heard a voice, and she was saying, "Don't look down, don't look down." And there was a girl that was about where my waist was, and she was in an upright position. She had a long white nightgown on, and she had long flowing hair. She said, "Don't look down, you'll get hurt. Look at me, you'll be okay."
He doesn't remember the impact. He remembers laying on the ground and feeling very peaceful, and until somebody picked him up, and then his shoulder hurt. I took him to the doctors, and the doctor pointed to him and said he fell the safest way possible. He impacted his shoulder and broke his collarbone. He said anything else would have done major damage.
Wes Chandler was 4 when he fell out of the tree, but it wasn't until many years later that he would tell anyone about the angel that he'd seen.
I could sense that there was something he wasn't telling me.
There is a conspiracy of silence in this country as far as paranormal phenomena is concerned. People keep these stories close to the vest for fear of ridicule.
Angels at the time were not part of our vocabulary, but this certainly meets my description of what an angel would be.
I think that it tends to be a physiologic event, sort of like a hallucination, but not as vague as a hallucination would be.
Tens of millions of people are claiming to have had these experiences. Are they all deluded? Are they all experiencing the same hallucination? If you have people who are pathologically hallucinating, you get individual, random, chaotically random stories. You don't have stories falling into a pattern.
I don't know that I deserved some help, but for some reason I got some help from somebody.
We were at a pool party, and we had fastened water wings on Daniel because he couldn't swim. Somehow, and we really don't know when, he took the water wings off, and he ended up in the deep end of the pool. He was just laying down there in this little ball, and it was just like I was frozen. I could only get halfway, and I couldn't move, and I knew I couldn't breathe down there, and I just came up. I knew somebody else was going to have to do it.
Daniel was rescued by his father, who administered CPR. When Daniel came to, he told his mother about his vision of an angel.
He said, "Did you know that there was an angel and there was a bright light, and the angel and the bright light were inside a tunnel?"
This local television interview with Daniel took place just a week after his near drowning.
A tunnel with a light inside and an angel.
Children seem to have a natural affinity for wonder. They're not old enough to have had all of that taken out of them. And so they're very open to the kinds of things that apparitions bring.
On March 30th, 1989, Estella Rodriguez was struck by an out-of-control ice cream truck. Estella believes it was an angel who prevented her from feeling any pain, despite great bodily injury.
The ice cream truck just came fast, and I saw him so close. It was so close that I could see his face, and I did not know what to do. But then I said with all my heart, "God, don't let me die." And right after that, I saw this beautiful, beautiful person. It was a male, and he was like when you see somebody in slow motion, just coming towards me at the same speed as the truck, but his hands were like this, stretched to me.
When she was hit, Estella suffered extensive injuries and lost her leg as a result. But Estella maintained she felt no pain, either during or after the accident.
I had no idea that I had lost my leg. I had broken ribs. I had a collapsed lung. And you know, I'm a registered nurse. And I have seen people with a collapsed lung and losing as much blood as I lost. And they had come to the hospital unconscious. I was conscious when I went to the hospital. I did not feel pain. I had peace with me.
If guardian angels really do exist, why do they appear to some while others are left to suffer? It's one of the great theological riddles yet to be answered.
My experience tells me that we have to get into enough pain in our lives before we're ready to move into healing and into transformation.
I had a lot of hate. I reeked in hate. It radiated from me. My eyes were black from what I've been told by people that knew me.
He was a hellraiser. He was constantly in trouble, and he was slowly working his way to either to prison or to be dead.
Daryl Cochran was an alcoholic and a drug addict who had been in and out of prisons, mental institutions, and drug treatment programs since he was 14 years old. Nothing worked for Daryl. He was living on the streets in 1987 when he found out his brother had been murdered execution style during a drug deal gone awry.
I was on like a 5-day bender, nonstop. And I remember sitting in my living room and the pain, the ungodly pain. And I fell on my hands and knees on the floor, and I was puking blood. And as I was puking blood, I was thinking of my mother and my father, and my kids, and Kathy, my wife that I was in love with. And I was thinking about Mike and I at a stream when we were boys fishing. And all of a sudden, I felt a warmth, an incredible warmth all over me. And when I looked up, I can't believe the incredible brilliance of light. It's like if you had the rays of a sun on a really hot day in a rainbow mixed together. In the midst of it, there was an outline of a being. All of a sudden, there was a voice. And it said, "You have been chosen to be a light to others." And I knew then I'd finally flipped. I'd lost it, gone right over the edge. The next thing I remember was this incredible feeling of peace.
On the day Daryl claims to have seen his guardian angel, his life did change dramatically. He immediately stopped using drugs and alcohol. He designed an anti-drug program for teenagers and has since devoted his life to public service, receiving commendations from Presidents Carter and Reagan. Did an angel turn Daryl's life around?
Whatever it was, it must have been some sort of miracle.
Daryl believes that his guardian angel or a guardian angel appeared to him and with some sort of communication from the angel, induced a transformation.
This silhouette in this brilliance of light, it was like a being that was just outlined, glowing, that said to me, "You have been chosen." Me, a drunk guy, I've been chosen. I have a guardian angel in my life, and it goes before me, behind me, beside me. It prepares everything ahead for me.
For those who believe they've been touched by an encounter with angels, no other evidence is necessary. But for many, angels remain nothing more than whimsical fantasy.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right.
Coming up, astrological predictions for the new year.
It looks to me like one of those years they're going to make T-shirts about. It's going to be I Survived 1993.
The cliche icebreaker was, what's your sign? And since then, astrology has gotten a reputation for being a questionable fringe science. But there are people who take it very seriously and have compelling evidence that the stars and planets can affect our lives. Perhaps it's just a sign of the times, but interest in astrology is greater today than at any time in this century. Psychic astrologer Richard Nolly has been conducting personal consultations for the past 20 years, and his clients, numbering in the thousands, believe in his predictive abilities.
Genuine astrology is based on calculations of the exact positions of not only the sun, but also the moon and all of the known planets at the exact moment that you came into this world, the exact time, date, and place of your birth. And you end up with a map that is as uniquely individual as your own fingerprints. Astrology offers them, through this paradox of looking out into space, a way of finding out who they are inside. And that's why people have come to it so strongly.
Nolly uses computer technology to improve his speed and accuracy, but he believes that it is his psychic powers that set his predictions apart.
Successful astrologers always rely on their psychic intuition as an aid to reading a chart.
Nolly claims a successful prediction rate of 80%, including 2 major earthquakes and the outbreak of the Gulf War. So Sightings asked for his predictions for 1993.
We're going to have another major seismic upheaval, probably California. The economy is not going to get back on track real fast. Within 18 months, Castro is history. It looks to me like one of those years they're going to make T-shirts about. It's going to be, I Survived 1993.
Is this view of 1993 shared by others? Sightings is assembling a panel of expert astrologers and psychics. We'll bring you their predictions on an upcoming edition of Sightings. If you've experienced what you believe to be paranormal activity, or if you have a specific prediction for the coming year, we'd like to know about it.
To report your sightings or prediction, call 1-900-740-SIGHT. Each call 75 cents a minute. Average call lasts 2 minutes, and you must be 18 years or older. Again, the Sightings hotline is 1-900-740-7483. On the next Sightings, have our shuttle astronauts captured photographic proof of real Star Wars between extraterrestrials and our military? Then, what are the bizarre balls of light over Marfa, Texas? We investigate on the next Sightings.
Join us next time for new investigations into the unexplained. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.
Get ready for the primetime premiere of Batman the Animated Series, Sunday at 7, 6 Central. Then, every family has a problem child. The Moody family calls theirs Dad. Shaky ground. Father knows best. It ain't. Catch the series premiere Sunday before in living color.